I spent $200 on a set of new digital calipers, and for the most part, they do the same thing as my $30 pair, but better. What's going on, guys? I'm Jody. This is Inspire Woodcraft. Today we're taking a quick look at the difference between a higher end set of digital calipers and a lower end set of digital calipers, just in case, like me, you've ever wondered if the upgrade is actually worth it. If you've never seen one of my videos before, I'm the guy who promotes almost measuring nothing when I'm in the shop, which is why it's a little ironic that I spent the money on a higher end set. This is my old set. They're made by Empire, which is a company that makes speed squares and levels. I've had these for quite a few years. I think they were around $30 when I got them. This is the new set, which is made by Mitutoyo, who has long been known as leaders in the measuring and calibration world, and the price reflects as such. As in, these ones, at least when I bought them, were $200. But if you factor in the price of these, which I'm replacing, the cost of batteries, which we're gonna touch on here in just a second, the time it takes to actually get a decent reading out of these, and the fact that I probably would have bought how many other cheap pairs if I didn't upgrade to a decent set at some point, it's sort of a wash. The discouraging part on spending the money on the Mitutoyos is that for the most part, they measure close enough to the Empires. Like, I expected there to be this dramatic eye-opening difference between the readings on both of these, and for the most part, they measure the same. I got inconsistently similar readouts from both sets when I started comparing them, and by that I mean sometimes the numbers were the same or close, and other times not so much. A lot of people don't realize that, generally speaking, digital calipers are only accurate to about plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch anyways, even the Mitutoyos. But for consistency's sake, the Mitutoyos win hands down. And the numbers alone aren't the whole story. The head on the higher end set glides buttery smooth and consistent throughout its whole travel. And while this isn't really something that can be shown on camera, in person, it's a night and day experience. It makes sneaking up on measurements and adjusting so much easier and quicker and more reliable. Now, if you use digital calipers, you know that the readout can be manipulated based on how firm you push the head into the material, and that can be compounded the closer you get to the tips of the jaws, especially on cheaper sets. With my old set, this was a constant annoyance, as getting a quick measurement was anything but quick because I could get a different reading each time. I eventually learned to adapt to the tool's shortcomings, but it was just too easy to put a little more or less pressure on it and end up with different readings. With the new ones, while the head still can be manipulated if you try, there's much more resistance to said manipulation. Like, you really have to press hard to get the number to change. What that translates to is quick, consistent, accurate measuring every single time I pick them up. Another thing is the Empire set burns through batteries, and from what I've learned from others, this is a problem amongst a lot of other brands as well. Mine were so bad I started buying batteries in bulk and even started taking out the battery in between uses, which is a huge pain. But it's better than finding that the battery is dead when you go to use them. The Mitutoyos claim to have a 3 to 5 year battery life with normal use, and from what I've heard from others, this claim holds true. One thing that some of you might find useful is that the sensor on the Mitutoyo is not sensitive to dust, oil, and water, meaning you can expect the same result out of the tool even if the conditions aren't perfect. I don't know how many other calipers have this feature, but my old set didn't work quite the same way. One of the issues I always had on the Empires is that the depth gauge rod never really stayed in its track. Like, it stays this way, but not this way. This didn't make it impossible to use, it was just really annoying. But again, I learned to just make it work. The design of the new set solves this issue, and I've seen some other sets from other brands that solve this issue too. It's just a design flaw of the Empires. But really, just the overall fit and finish is on par with what you'd expect from a high quality tool. Now, apparently, I got ripped off when I bought my Mitutoyos because I paid $200 for these, and at the time of this recording, they've come back down to $140. And at the time, I didn't realize that $140 is actually what they should cost normally. Now, on that note, apparently there is a whole business online of selling knockoff Mitutoyos for really cheap prices. So if you come across a set that seems too good to be true, it probably is. If you're looking to upgrade, I'll leave a link to the exact ones that I bought, plus a few other highly rated but not so expensive ones in the video description, so you don't have to worry about getting ripped off. I won't link these because these suck. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching as always. We'll see you guys in the next video. I think I finally broke them. I'm sure they'll work when they dry out, but yeah, that's different.